Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review. We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Blink, click, clack. How we doing, everybody? It's another wonderful Wednesday. I am the guy, Reverend Marcus, and with me, as per usual, he's the man, the myth. He's the guy with a new podcast set up. It's
And
Ray
you're the
Zach.
guy, broadcasting from location 72 and a half in hotel room. I don't know. What is that? A Days Inn?
It's the Best Western. It's a Best
even
Western.
better. Even better.
Yeah.
Way better actually than a Days Inn.
It's a Best Western, and because I'm on a work trip right now, and coming in, and I'm not joking when I'm saying this, I've heard from like 5 different people that this Best Western has a great breakfast.
Are you excited for the breakfast?
Well, I had it this morning, and
Oh,
in terms
okay.
of hotel breakfasts, like it's actually pretty good in terms of a hotel breakfast.
Well, we're a couple things real quick. I got two kind of wandering subjects here as we open up today's episode. So welcome back, everybody. But first is breakfast foods. I am so stoked for Iceland because like everywhere you look, pancakes, waffles, crepes, like they're the go-to. Why is Thea calling me? She never calls me. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Wifey. Oh well, I'm podcast alert. We're good. Anyway, so that was the first one, Iceland breakfast food.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to have Icelandic coffee.
Yeah, but you're excited to have coffee everywhere. You're like, I'm excited to have Kona coffee. You'll be in Colombia. I know we'll get Colton on here one day and talk about him going down to Colombia, and you'll be like, hey, Colton, how was the coffee down in Colombia? Hey, I've heard that Amazonian rainforest coffee is slapping. And then you'll be like, YOLO, Uganda, where's the place to be? In Starbucks.
Ethiopia is really good coffee when you were talking down there. But no, I think it'll be different because they'll do it differently. And so it'll be quality. So I'm excited for it.
It's the experience. No, but the other thing with breakfast food, with where that's going, in a hotel, you're getting good breakfast. We will have to compare because good old Matt buddy and today's Monday. So in 2 days, we're hopping on a jet. He's hopping on one in Portland, and we're going to end up in Denver. We're going to be at the Denver March powwow. And I know Matt's got his feathers all bustling right now just because he's like, it's funny. I love the guy. But we'll compare breakfasts because it's kind of a bougie hotel. Like I do all the booking because
and you stay in bougie ass places.
I do like that hotel, which is wild. I stayed at the West End in downtown Seattle that time. And if you're not familiar with downtown Seattle, there's the 2 spherical buildings. They look like just like 2 like lipstick containers kind of. And you could see in one of them, and across the way there was people doing it. You could see it. You're just like, because they were taking pictures of her like posing on the desk because the desk face downtown Seattle is really cool. But I like taking Matt to those places because like it's like a fish out of water kind of thing.
Do you room with them or do you have separate rooms?
Oh no, we get separate rooms. It's like they pay. Yeah, no, we're good.
I was gonna say because that'd be even better just to see him like comprehend it. You're just like you can see the wheels turn, and as he's like, "Damn, they got ropes."
Right. That's something I like. I like bougie hotels because why not?
Oh, I know you like the bougie hotel.
Well, we got that one, and that's not a bad travel tip, folks. Travel tip: travel in the off season, and I mean like the off season, like April, May, in like these snowy places, and you could get some of the world class lodges. Like you go in like April to Big Sky, you'll get a good deal, I bet. You'll enjoy
Probably
it,
better than you would in the winter.
or July even for that matter.
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely we'll have to compare breakfast. But I'm also I'm it was interesting because
I'm gonna
I
be honest. I hope yours, if yours is a bougie hotel, I hope the breakfast is better than this Best Western.
well, it's one of those breakfasts I think that we might actually it's like where you have to pay for it in the morning.
Ah,
It's
okay,
not
okay.
like it's not like a continental one.
Yeah. Oh boy, Matt Buddy's gonna be upset.
Well, and that's the well, shit. When we were in Albuquerque, we had a continental breakfast, and that boy was taking us to Starbucks next door, and he's getting an orange juice, he's getting a coffee, and he's getting like a Starbucks Chris sandwich. He's spending like $20 a morning, and it's like no wonder you're broke all the time,
Yeah,
cowboy.
he yeah, that's true. He's not the best at budgeting with his food.
No, no, he's not. And he likes that organic and this and that. But that's Matt.
That's
And
here nor there. No, 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 no. We're here for more. We're more about the here rather than the there or elsewhere. We're here today
in the now,
in the now to do some more listener questions. These are questions that have come from you, the wanderers. These are questions that we have individually picked. There is no theme to them. We have just picked them.
at
So
random.
at random. I think ours are different themed questions. That's why I make that out. So we just picked these up from, again, questions that you guys have asked. If you would love to ask a question that gets answered on the podcast, here, go ahead, hit us up on the email or hit us up on the Instagram. Um, you can even probably leave it in the comments here in the YouTube. We'll check it out. But
Right?
find
We
us at
not
the Wandering Ways.
we might not bring it on because there might be some of those YouTube comments, but they're for sure out there. And if you don't know what our email is, you can email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. It never gets checked, but it does get checked. Wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERING@gmail.com. If you don't like how fast I went, hit pause, go back, write it down, try again. Thank you so much. Send it in. Send us a question. We love to hear them. Wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we do. We love it. We love it. Speaking of YouTube comments, I saw on one of the videos someone just commented, "It's a fake," to one of the videos.
Did you see the
So,
video
yeah, it was like
of
it
what?
was it was in Glacier.
Yeah, and we're walking on that trail by that river up to
Yeah.
Cracker Lake, and it was just like it's a
Um,
like
why I think they think it's fake though is because it's like a fisheye lens. So
oh,
it
it's the
looks
GoPro. Yeah,
so it looks very kind of like you're rotating on one spot and you can kind of see like that fisheye lens. So that's why I'm thinking they think it's a fake, but I thought it was funny that they just straight up commented it's a fake.
well, and shout out to Old Man Old Truck. Go follow him on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. No, he doesn't have Spotify. TikTok. That's the other one. All his socials. Check him out. I know he's always commenting on our YouTubes. He likes them. So we appreciate that. We hear you. We see you. Don't worry.
We do, we do. Anyways, no, we'll jump in. The first question. We do a lot of traveling. If you listened to last week's episode when we had Vicky on, this is why I picked this specific question that we have. This one comes from a wanderer in the great state of Montana. So, question: would you ever be a digital nomad?
Are you asking me or you?
I'm asking you.
I kind of am in a weird way. Um, not to Vicky's point, not to where I'm living on a ship, living in nature 24/7. I would like that. I don't know if Thea would like that. We've talked about a truck. of some sort, like a roam vehicle, a trek vehicle, as I call them. Maybe I would
You
be
got to
down
do,
to
you
do
just
that.
got to go rent a bunch of Airbnbs, stay in Airbnb here, stay in Airbnb there type deal.
That's just expensive though. It adds up. Airbnbs are like they're more expensive than like hotel rooms at this point, even.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's other sites other than
Right.
Airbnb, but that kind of like style, you know. I think it would be hard for Thea because she's a nurse.
Right.
It's hard to do that as the traveling lifestyle.
Right. Well, for me, like I always talked about doing it in those weeks off because she works 1 week on, 1 week off. She could always like, oh, hey, I'll fly in to Seattle, meet up with you for a week, and then maybe
Yeah.
from Portland fly back to Montana. I don't know. There's some of those that we've talked about. There's some of the just different logistics in that sense. But I mean, you don't have. I mean, it's weird because like even a digital nomad to me is just someone who can work anywhere from their computer. And that's, I mean, for me, I can work essentially from my phone. Anywhere I go, I can, as long as I have a cell service, I'm essentially at work.
Yeah.
And I don't, and another thing I've adopted, which kind of why I argue that a digital nomad is just someone that you could just set up kind of work from anywhere. Um, Two is just the fact that like you it's just that like you can I don't know. I've been doing it forever, like I've been doing it before COVID. I've been doing it. My dad's been doing it kind of forever in that sense. Like I've seen him take work calls on family vacations and trips. Um, Personally, I've instilled in myself like there are no days off, there are no weekends, and it's just the moment, and you're living in the now. And so when you are in nature and it's a Wednesday, enjoy it. It's a Saturday, enjoy it. You have the time, enjoy it. Take the time, enjoy it. But also to like, if I need to work on a Sunday or Saturday so that I can be in nature on a Wednesday, because I'll do that in the summer. Like I told Jared, I'm like he one of the when you fish, it's kind of shitty, right? Like that's why they have those like days of heat where it's like days over so many days over 100 degrees you can't fish certain rivers in the state of Montana because like it basically the fish frenzy and eat in the heat,
Uh,
and so you catch a lot more in the heat. But they also like when you catch them, you take them out of water, you handle them, they die quicker. Like there's just a lot more not happening, and them being in that frenzy isn't good in those.
yeah, yeah.
You stressing them out and shit. So those kind of like things. But I'll look for those days where I'm like, oh, there's going to be like a hot stretch in the middle of the week. Well, I have this project. If I can get this project done on a Sunday, like why not go
Yeah.
on Wednesday? I can take my phone call from the river, but I know what that phone call is going to be about. It's going to be about the project I finished on Sunday, just those kind of things. So, but I'm able to do that as a digital nomad in that sense, but I'm not 100% full on. Like Sealy, like Matt said in the episode we interviewed him, we took that work call from Kana,
Yeah.
Washington, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah, I think I'd call you just a remote worker. I don't know, a
right,
digital nomad's not the correct term because nomad you're traveling around. You don't have like a set
right,
home base when you're a nomad. But, you're a remote worker. You can
right.
work from anywhere. You have a home base that you call home type deal.
Exactly. No, and I don't have that like to me to do that you would require that like trek vehicle, I think, to be a full on 100% digital nomad. Because yeah, like you said, that would have your bed, that would have
Mhm.
your like main clothes, that would have your internet, that would have like a TV. Like I don't have even like that kind of stuff in my car. I do want to get one of those Boost antennas you put on the back of your car to just get cell signals. Like how cool would that be if we had a cell signal in the middle of the Lamar Valley and you and I could say, hey, let's do a Facebook Live Wandering Ways like 25-minute post right here in the Lamar Valley because we have the cell service.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
You like
You know,
enjoying the moment too and being away from it.
Yeah, 100%, to answer that question, would I be a digital nomad? Um, no, because my job requires people. It requires working with people.
What
So
would
I
it take? Okay, I get that because you're an athletic trainer, but what would it take you to become a digital nomad too? Go ahead, continue your answer, but I'm also curious.
Yeah, but
Take
that's
for
the
you to
thing
leave
is oh, what would it take for me to leave
to
the
be a
prof?
digital nomad. Yeah,
I don't know what it
like Wandering
would.
Ways, like you get paid as much as you're making right now to do Wandering Ways on the road and
Oh,
travel.
that'd probably be good enough.
Really?
You know, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You
Good to
know,
know.
making a decent amount of money, that would probably be enough to get me uh convinced to do it. But no, I work with people, so I can't really do it. Uh, and you know, to go off of the like why, that whole I don't know, you call it a wee woo boost or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh why there that's cool is because you can do stuff like that, but at the same time I'm the type of person that when I get out into these, like that's it. That's what
Right.
I'm there to not be bothered, type deal. I put in our Google Calendar for work that when we're like, with putting when we're not in the office or out, it's out. And when I'm out, I'm out, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person, even if you go to the pub with me at the end of the day when we're at the pub, I'm not at work. This isn't time to talk shop. I'm out. So it's like very much like when I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm not at work, I am not at work. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of it when it comes to that having the wee woo boost or whatever it is.
No, I mean,
Um,
it makes sense. It makes sense too because you are in a job where it's like you are needed 100% of your on clock time. When you're at that sporting event, that player goes down, you're needed. You need to watch them. You also need to be paying attention. That kid just hit his head on the goalpost. Well, frick, is that a concussion? I don't know. I gotta,
yeah,
you're needed. So I understand that want to, like, when work's over, I'm done. I don't want to think about it. It's nothing.
yeah,
As like for me, because we're developing creative things and coming up with, like, you're always looking for those things, those little things that stand out to you, and just the way they like you may see something where it's like, oh my god, that the way that barbed wire fence looks like this and does that, we need to do this and incorporate it here in our, you know what I mean, like just the way. So it's like it's nice to have that and say, let me email that, or oh, you just have a 30-minute check-in call this week, but so you can take the week off. So find a way to take that 30-minute call from a cell service place. You know what I mean? Like there's those kind of opportunities too that, like,
oh,
I which I'm
100%.
about. But yeah, I get what you
Oh,
mean. I do.
100%. That's just a very unique thing to me.
Right.
So that's why I don't like that whole wee woo boost. But to get to the digital nomad, I don't think it's quite possible for me to do it with my job choice. Um, would I do it? I totally would if I could find something that
Right.
paid reasonably. Outside that, I don't know what I would do as a digital nomad, but but outside that, hopefully we answered the question. I think we wandered around a lot on that one,
That's
but
a fun one though.
it was a fun one. But
I got I got one.
next
I got
question coming from you.
Sean, actually. Sean in Texas. In Tejas.
Okay.
Um, he wants to know, what's your favorite place in Olympic?
In Olympic,
Yeah,
favorite place in Olympic. Ooh, tough one. Tough
right?
one, tough one, tough one. I'd either say it's the Hoh Rainforest or the Solduck. Um, and I
Yeah.
don't know which one I would do either or. The Hoh is just a special, unique place. Um, the Solduck, and you can get deep into that area, and it's very cool. That's where I camped when I did it, just me. Then like
Yeah.
that September during COVID.
I would
So
have liked to spend more time up there because we just did that little, like, falls essentially.
yeah,
Drive
the like
that road.
the
Yeah.
salmon run lookout part. Yeah, that doesn't even touch it. I mean, we didn't even go to the Solduck Falls, which is really cool.
Yeah.
You keep going, you find that lake that I hiked to my first day there. You can go to that lookout that I did the second day there. That was very cool. So, I mean, the Soul Duck is very, there's a lot more to do
Yeah.
there than like in the Ho. The Ho is kind of, you're either backcountry or you do the two little loops, which you can do in an afternoon, realistically.
Right. And the Ho, I mean, to be fair, if I were to go back to the Ho, I would like to do the Ho backcountry personally.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go in that area, just because low key, I think that'd be really cool. I think you'd see some stuff that you wouldn't
Yeah.
normally see. A lot of trees though, I bet too. Um, Personally for me, I did like our hike up Summit Lake, Pyramid Peak.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Where the, was it Crescent Lake?
Crescent Lake, Pyramid Peak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
It had the little cabin at the top.
yeah, or fire lookout, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
weird little, yeah. Uh it just like the ability to look across into Canada was kind of neat. And just like walking on that ridge line, how like one side of the ridge was warm and the other side of the ridge was cold. And you really could feel that and just be, you were on top of something. It was interesting because like when you do look at a map, especially here in the US, like of Washington, right, that northernmost corner, you do see that point, right? You
Hmm.
do see the all that stuff. So to kind of be up in that area and look across and be like, I was on that edge at one point is kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
That area is really cool. It's really pretty if you get the fall colors in that spot.
Did you do Hurricane Ridge as well?
Yeah, I've done Hurricane. I did
Yeah.
Hurricane Ridge when I did it with Phil
Okay.
and Vince, Phil and Vince. Which Hurricane Ridge is super cool as well. It's just Hurricane Ridge is just different from the others because you're kind of up in the mountains. You feel Hurricane Ridge, you feel like you're in most mountainous places where the whole rainforest or the Soul Duck, you feel like you're in the forest. Around Crescent Lake, you feel more like in the forest. You don't feel like that dense forest around like Crescent Lake, but you feel like it's just a typical kind of like gorgeous forest.
Well, on the coast too. Like you have that element that
Oh, the coast is very cool.
like
I got to do it with Vince and Phil. We went to, I think it's called like Third or Second Beach.
right,
Um, and that's very cool. I would go backcountry in that area so you can just camp on the beach.
right.
Um, just
I
because
do
that would
that.
be cool.
I do that in Hawaii on the Big Island too at Volcanoes National Park. What okay, what's the place though? Number one place.
I'm gonna clock into the Soul Duck.
Yeah, I'll say Pyramid Peak personally. Summit Lake. I
Okay.
like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was definitely a good one. I mean, Olympics just a fabulous park.
It is.
Um, Next question. This one comes from the state of Oregon. This is going to get into your habits a little bit. Are you a heavy packer? Or are you a light packer?
Heavy.
You're a heavy packer.
Right.
I'm a light packer.
Tyler had to carry my backpack up to the chalet. But like at the same time too, it it depends on the trip, right? Day
On
trip.
average, this is, I think, more of an on average. Whether it's that
uh,
back country that you're going to do, or whether it's pack up the car, kind of like spot to spot kind of mentality.
well, either or. I mean, either way, either kind of trip. I say I tend on the heavier side sometimes. One, because of the photo equipment. If I
Yeah.
want like low key, you want that Quartz Lake photo of Quartz Lake with the stars and whatnot, you're going to need a tripod. Well, depending on what kind of tripod you have, usually the more lighter they are, the more expensive they are. And if it's a cheap light one, yeah, I wouldn't be using it. But but um yeah, I'd say because like I do bring the camera, if I'm bringing the jet boil, if we're bringing like our sleeping bag, the clothes. But then again, like I think like Iceberg Lake this last summer, I just brought a fucking bottle of water and that was my downfall.
Yeah, we did that hike all very, very minimally on that specific hike. But
We didn't
no,
even bring
I
bear spray, or did we? No, we did. I gave it to
no.
Matt.
Oh well,
Yeah, I
I tend to pack light, or at least I try to pack light. Um, I will when I'm looking, I pretty much like try to fit everything in like the bags. If
yeah.
it can fit in the bags, then it's important, right? Importance top of the list, not importance bottom of the list. But if it can fit, I'll probably go. And I keep like nowadays I'm like a 2 bag limit. I used to
Right.
be like a 1 bag limit,
I
but
know.
that's also back when I was like I didn't have shit. So one bag was good to go.
Yeah, I mean it really is the trip dependent too. Like Iceland here coming up, like we will be both, I think, 2 bag dependent, right? Your carry on and then your checked bag.
Yeah.
And like how I'm thinking of doing it personally is like most of my clothes is what's going to be on that checked bag.
Yeah.
Uh
I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet.
well, I just that's how I pack to begin, and my can because my camera and my computer, my electronics come with me on the plane. I'm
Yeah.
not like those ain't going underboard, so those usually take my backpack up, my camera alone. Um, so sometimes I just turn that into my backpack on these trips is my camera backpack, but I don't know with Iceland it and being in June, depending work schedule with if I need a computer, I might not bring a computer, so I might just bring my camera bag. There's some variations, but yeah, definitely it's dependent. If I could load like if I can load up the back seat, if it's just you and I and we're in the Rougarou and I can load that back seat up with everything we think we're going to need for 2 weeks. I'm okay with that though, too, right? And that's why I don't mind being a heavy packer on like a road trip where because it's like we have the space. Like if you need it, you might need it, especially on those items.
Yeah. I don't know. I still always try to pack light.
I know. You
Very
like a
much.
quick getaway.
Yeah, I do. I do. I like a good quick getaway. But yeah, so that's I pack light typically on the lighter side of things. We'll put there.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then we'll I have a couple more.
Yeah,
I have
I've
three.
got
I got three more if and then
I've
whatever you.
got two, but I only need to do one.
And we're really eating good time on each one. I don't mind when they're quality like that. When like we're just kind
Yeah.
of like because we're talking about the same thing, and I know people. It's at what point though do you move on, right? And I think we're doing a good job of that. Thea
Yeah, I do
texts.
too.
She goes, "I hope you're doing well. Why did my mom call me? What the fuck?"
Go ahead and give him a call.
Yeah. Oh, it's just that. No, it's that fucking billboard shit. Did I tell you about that? So we put up boards on the building, first floor. Okay. Everyone downtown Billings fucking upset. This shitty fucking town. Looks like trash, blah, 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 right? I go down there, I spray paint. Art is coming soon in just this ugly ass graffiti spray paint trash. It causes outrage, whatever. This one guy fucking reaches out to like our Travis, the realtor, and like the downtown building association, whatnot. So I fucking called him just out of the blue. I got his number. I fucking called him. I was like, "You fucking piece of shit," and just dug into him. Just blew like was like, "I need to blow up on someone," and I'm like, "I'm choosing you today because you
Oh,
chose." You know what I mean? So I blew up on him. As I'm blowing up, I ignite something in him. He goes off. He's like, "I don't want fucking Billings to turn into Detroit. These fucking niggers and blah blah blah." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" I said, "Are you racist?" Like, because he said that, and I was just like I was just like, and I was like, "Did you just say that?" And he goes, yeah, like he like I am," and I was just like, "What the?" I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah," and then we just got into it, and then he like changed his. He was really ragey at that point, and then he
yeah.
changed his tone about like the last third of the phone call to like hey, so like what are you doing? Like, are you threatening me? Is that a threat? Should I be careful? Like, ask, and I'm like, are you like you can tell he was trying to like record me at that point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was like, fuck you, and I hung up. And and then I sat on it all weekend long. And it kind of blew up that Friday because I got a phone call from like my dad, Travis, Jared, people like that. Like, it was like, how do you fucking know Jared? I fucking Monday, this guy, he was still continuing shit. And I got a phone call from my dad saying like they want to like get the police involved and shit because you're threatening him. I said, fuck it. I went to his website, and on his website for his business, he lists all his like, because he's a light like guy. He's like a middleman in the sense of like, oh, here's all the people I work with. I get all my lights from these 50 companies. And then if
Yeah.
you are, yeah. So I emailed all 50 companies basically that I'm like, I sat with this all weekend. This guy like said these things, and he said it in a way that just isn't sitting with me right. That like you wouldn't say the N word to someone you've never met before like that if you didn't truly have those feelings. And I just want to let you know who you're in bed with business wise. One fucking company called me today and says, yeah, we're pulling the plug on him. Like, we don't
Oh
tolerate that.
shit.
Another guy told me to fuck off. So, like, it,
Yeah.
but it's like, dude, I'll hit you where it hurts. If you want to complain about plywood on our building, fuck
Yeah.
you. Yeah. So they painted over my spray paint this weekend, and that's what I sent the other picture of. So that's why she's calling me. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Because the guy's brother tagged me in a Facebook post, and it was just like, "Fuck you! I don't need to call her." I was more worried. I was like, "What the fuck?" All right,
okay.
yeah,
I'll resend.
yeah. Bye. Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount. The Wild West is full of dangers, from snakes to bears. The outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGAROO10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGAROO10. RUGARU10.
We love all these cool questions. There's some great shit in there, but now it's time for some cool shit in nature.
Got a
This one,
cold pee.
uh, I think I got a couple doozies this week, as I per usually do. Um, one's a picture, one's a video. One's a video of something that I believe is quite rare that happens, but this first picture here, I just I think it's cool. It's two wild horses kind of going at it.
I
It
wonder
would
if
be
that's
pretty wild to see.
I wonder if that's here in Montana. We have some wild horses out, like that Wild Horse Island out by Flathead, and then you have like there's a couple herds in this state. I think up in the Bighorns too.
I don't think so. Um, I
Or,
think,
or are these like in like Iberia or somewhere like
yeah, I think it's somewhere not in the US or North America, if I remember correctly. But I don't know, to be honest.
that's
But
cool.
it's a very cool picture.
Especially
It'd be
because you
pretty
got the
wild to watch.
right, and then you got the black and white horse, right? Like it's black and
Yeah, it's
white,
honestly that's what makes this picture really cool.
right?
Makes it very, very cool. Next one, it's a video. I don't know. The weather's been a little bit extreme everywhere lately, in California especially. So this is Joshua Tree National Park, and there's some snow.
That was so cool to see, though,
Yeah,
when you sent
this
me
would be super cool.
because I was just like, I can't believe it. Like it's snowing in like Joshua Tree. It's 80 degrees in DC. We're having 80, 70, 80 degree like swings in temperature. Like it's wild. It's this is climate change happening before our eyes. I have on my board over here on my wall when hanging up, it says it's from Cards Against Humanity. It says it's too late to stop climate change. And like this is proof, man.
Yeah, I mean this winter has been quite extreme, especially actually for like California. You know, LA, people in LA got a blizzard warning. Now, I don't know what a LA blizzard is, but the fact that they are getting a blizzard warning is pretty impressive.
Right. They should never. And it's interesting because like here in Montana, like we should be getting snow November through March. And it seems like we're getting snow January, February these days.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
it crazy. Well,
it
like last
is.
year, the flooding in Yellowstone, like that's what it's and like then also you're talking about California, they're having a lot of flood and like cliffs and did you see that cliff on the beach that just like fell in California or wherever that
Yeah,
was?
California is so there's a few things that are going on in California. One, I heard recently that there are passes in the Sierra Nevada that have about 100 inches of
Oh,
snow.
I've seen pictures. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And two, they're getting hit with these atmospheric rivers, which is essentially just a large amount of precipitation that's just getting dumped on the state of California.
Well,
Now, if you paid attention to California over the last few years, you're going to know that they are in a drought currently. Um, Now, one of the things is everyone thinks with all this precipitation, all the snow and everything, that this drought is now like officially over. But what happens is they've been in a drought for so long that that precipitation doesn't absorb into the ground. So the groundwater is actually still very, very low, and it's just all runoff. So that's why you're getting the flash floods. That's why you're getting the flooding of just all this different proportions, and so that's why they're getting all, I mean, they're kind of in reality just getting destroyed.
well, and that atmospheric river term that you use, that's quite a newer term in meteorology, in weather reading, like on maps, like with the rain and the way the bands of rain move across the land.
Yeah.
Because I remember my dad when he moved to Oregon, he's like, I've never heard of an atmospheric river in my life, and we seem to get them well, weekly is when when he was like talking about it because he's like here, and sure enough, comes off the coast at this time, and it's hitting here at this time. Like they're watching
Yeah.
those things. It's crazy, but that's where we're at, folks. Like it's changing.
It's wild. I mean, the weather down where I'm at, we've been getting a lot of snow or just cold weather. Now we're getting hit with a bunch of rain. Um, because we're the basically the outside tip of the atmospheric river. So we're not getting hit by the core of it. So we're not just getting like annihilated, but we're getting the little outskirts of it. So it's a heavy-ish rain where we are. But I mean, it's so wild that like I thought I saw a picture of the saguaros with snow up the,
Yes,
which is wild too.
I was like, sign me up. I would love to see that.
It would be totally different, which is what makes it really cool. And probably I don't know if that's happened before. I'm sure it has. I just don't know.
Yeah, and to what element, right? In the sense of like, was it just a little bit of snow?
Mm,
Was it a freak storm, or oh no, it was off a bigger storm that came in
Yeah.
inland or whatever. Because you do get those like typhoons and stuff that send those bands across the like U.S. in the winter that from the
Yeah,
Pacific.
monsoon season, all that crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. But
Wow.
anyways, I thought that was some cool shit to share. So
Um,
um
I like it. I like that cool shit. I also like this question from Tina in Pennsylvania to continue back with our questions here. She's a first timer, all right? And she's just like, what's some of the general advice you can give her for Bryce Canyon for being a first timer?
get into the canyon.
Yeah.
Everybody does the drive, right? And it's a great drive to do. But whether well, I got two. This is the first one, and I'll tell
I
you the
know the
second
second
one.
one. I know the second one.
But yeah, get into the canyon. Because I think that's where the real magic is. I haven't gone into the canyon, and it's something that is kind of quite honestly just kicking me. I want to get into the
Right.
canyon, see the different levels, see the different colors, all of that cool, because I think that's what makes Bryce Bryce. As for the second tip I got, make sure you get the water.
Right. Right.
The
You try
water.
the
It's the best water. You go to the ranger station, you go in the doors and it's a quick left. And right there you can fill up your water. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
No, you won't. It's real good water. I would also recommend the stargazing here.
Mhm.
Um, definitely try to find a campsite that has a good view of the sky, or take the time to go into the park and set up somewhere. Bundle up because you're in the mountains. It's a little chilly, but it's beautiful. I I definitely would say the stargazing. I would also say there's a hot springs nearby. I
Oh,
believe
is
I
there?
believe it's by Bryce. I think so. I think it's by Bryce.
I don't
It's the
know.
one. It's like built into the rocks, kind of.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes. I forget the name, but go there. And I'm a hot spring guy. And I told Jared, I said when I talk to you next on the podcast, we're gonna have to have a little hot spring debate. Get into what are your some of
Oh,
favorites, just because
oh,
there's different strokes for different folks. Like
100%.
low key, the low hot springs up in Montana that we went to this last time, like with Matt, like I think you would really like it. But again, it's very similar to the Ashland hot springs in size of both pools.
Okay.
So the outdoor pool, which is the cold pool, which was in like there was snow outside when we were there, like
So it was cold.
yeah, but I mean it was like 60 degrees. Like it was like the water wasn't frozen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that pool was bigger, and then it was a small indoor like rectangle, which I would compare it at the same size as the one there in Ashland.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, but simple, basic, But then you go to
Yeah.
like your Bos Angeles hot springs right there in Bos Angeles. You get the like all the different pools, and it's a little more modern. So different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, 100%. I've been to some hot springs in I think actually it's called Hot Springs, California, which is actually by Joshua Tree.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and it had a bunch of different pools. I mean, a ton of them, different, all sorts of different temps. And they had a map, this pool's this temp, all over the place. So
That's how Bozeman
I,
is. But the indoor is very like cheap. Like if Chico was indoor and had like if you cut the big pool in half and then put like 10 different sized pools or seven or like five different sized pools
yeah.
in that half, like with like different temperature. It was weird because like it has the really, really hot one, but it fits like two people. So
Okay.
like, you have like two people, and it's very outdated on the inside.
Yeah. The ones I went to down there, the all the smaller pools, yeah, they could fit probably about 10 people
Oh,
each,
that's nice. That's real
So
nice.
it's not like huge, but it's decent enough size. It was like a bunch of like smaller, just a bunch of like hot tubs you'd see at like a hotel or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what the inside of the Bozeman one looks like. And then you go outside and it looks more like that Yellowstone hot springs, like that outside, it kind of like more modern. There's a big like crescent kind of pool where you have the benches. But definitely check out the hot springs in Bryce Canyon. If you can't tell, we like hot springs.
100%. No, that's a good question. I'm glad she asked that one.
Yeah.
Next question for me. This one may take you a little bit. I'll be honest, I had it written down and I still don't know if I have mine kind
Pulled up.
of selected here. So this one comes from Wander in Ohio. This question is, if you could choose any famous person, celebrity, dead or alive, who would you like to travel with? I know,
Mark,
tough
Reverend Mark.
questions.
Who wouldn't want to travel with Reverend Mark? Reverend Mark and Matt Buddy. Come on, that's the best travel gang you can get around with.
Yeah, and I don't know. Matt Buddy might be famous, but I'm not famous. So
Um, dead or alive,
yeah, that's what I mean. It's a tough one because I don't know. I think
I'm gonna blow your I'm gonna blow your water.
okay.
I'm gonna blow your water here. I'm gonna say like um personally, I think Chief Little Shell. I think personally from like a historical background. And in reality, when I say Chief Little Shell, I really mean like any chief, like Chief Joseph, Chief Geronimo, any one of those natives leading their tribes back in the day, because
Oh
you would
yeah.
be nomadic out here on the plains. And maybe, and I needed to learn my tribal histories a little further, but like the chiefs kind of beyond that before European contact. The problem is a lot of that history is lost because of European
Mhm.
contact. But that like to see and travel with like a group of plains natives out here, like in eastern Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, just the way they would nomadically follow the bison through these places and see them that back then. Um, I think that would be really cool. And to like travel with like because that's what they did. That was life. That was the like
Yeah.
enjoyment. So you would get that perspective as well. So that, and I say just Chief Little Shell just because he's the leader of our tribe, and even the like, he was out hunting bison in Montana, you know, like, and he comes back to North Dakota and they're like, oh no, they signed a treaty, and he goes, I'm the boss. Like, no, like I say what goes, and they're like, no, we got what we needed. Like, we have signatures from these people. Like, fuck you, basically. And he said, fine, I'll take my band, which included the Rocky Boy band, the Rocky Boy tribe here in Montana. They came out to Montana and said, we're going to just live nomadically and live on that Missouri River. And basically, Little Shell fought him forever. So it'd just be interesting to see those conversations, see the decisions being made, especially too when you look at like the late 1800s, early 1900s, when this like was happening, and you'd get like the persecute to really see the hate towards natives, to really be like, no, your great granddaddy was a piece of shit. I'm sorry, you're like, but let's be real, like your white great daddy was put my fucking great granddaddy in a boarding school. Like, let's be fucking
Yeah.
real. Let's call a spade,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But
I feel you.
that's who I would
Uh,
do.
for me, technically this isn't even a real person. Um, but I would like to travel, and I'm really actually slightly embarrassed. I can't remember the name, but it's the photographer in Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Right. Isn't that,
That
but
guy,
that's all. Isn't he based off of a real photographer,
I,
essentially?
I think so. I think he is, but he goes on the coolest adventures just in
Yeah.
that movie. So I mean,
Right.
I would love to tag along. He was like photographing a volcano eruption, then he was off looking for mountain or snow leopards. He's like in all of these wacky ass places. He's like at the beginning, he's like, sorry about the blood. I was stitching a bullet wound or a stab wound or something. Like he's
Right.
got some crazy ass stories. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to, I'll travel with you.
No, I like that one. I thought you were going to say Wally from Disney Pixar.
Wally. I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know
Ah,
his
dude.
adventures.
Oh well, he travels space, so
Yeah,
I thought maybe.
maybe I'll go Moana. So
Right, there you go. No, I'm about it. I would agree. I want to say I forgot what is his name in the movie, and then what's his name in real life.
the
But
actor is Sean Penn. I know that much.
right,
But I'm blanking on the guy's name.
Sean O'Connell is the
Yes, that's what it
photographer's
is.
name.
Sean O'Connell.
Okay,
And he does
from
everything in film, which would be really cool.
yeah. Oh yeah, just like basically a Wandering Ways person. If we could get paid for what we did.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah, that'd be sweet. That's how I
yeah,
become my digital nomad.
exactly. You basically become Sean O'Connell. Um, I forget what that photographer. There's another like famous, I want to say, photographer for like Life magazine who would go on like those, or National Geographic, one of those that would go on these uh yeah, it's
Those
interesting.
expeditions.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Fun question. Fun question. So,
Is it my turn? My turn?
yeah, I
My turn?
think you have one more, yeah?
One more good one. Yes. This one, and I like this one. I like this one a lot because this one comes from Melanie down in Florida. And she says, if you're going to the Southwest and she's going down, it sounds like the Zion, Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, that area. What would you book in advance knowing you had to? So I think she's kind of asking along the lines of like, if you're going to do like the Antelope Canyon tours where you have to like book it with a Navajo tour guide, or
Oh,
if you're going to like go canyoneering nearby Zion or book a helicopter into the Grand Canyon. I think that's the ask is what would you book ahead in advance, no, like knowing like you're in this area, like what kind of adventures would you want to do? Um and then even I think like I guess arguably you could argue like some of maybe the permit hikes.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say Angel's Landing. I would try and
right.
book that in advance.
The wave
Um,
page if you're going to try and hike the
yeah,
wave. But
that would be
experience
one.
experiences
Uh,
too.
I don't think you have to do Antelope Valley. I think you can just kind of show up for that one.
I don't think you have to book it in advance, but I definitely would check it out. That's something I think I would want to go back down to. Some of those tours looked pretty cool. I saw you could
Yeah.
kayak on Lake Powell up into those canyons, that kind of like the
Oh,
lake,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which I thought would be cool. Um, and then would you helicopter into the Grand Canyon?
No, I wouldn't. I think
Why?
it would. I do really think it would be cool, but I don't think. I'm just not a big fan of the helicopters being in the Grand Canyon.
That makes sense. I mean, I did see that one documentary, and you do see them when you're there. You do start to go, yeah,
Yeah,
and from Vegas, like low key from Vegas, man. If you are by the
yeah.
airport, you see them taking
Uh,
off like crazy.
um, I definitely think it's very cool. Would be very,
Yeah,
very cool to go and check out. I just, I don't want to. I don't want to participate in that type of deal.
I that's why I wanted to ask you, just because like I feel like that would be your answer personally. Is you don't want to contribute to that, and I understand. I do get that.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Okay, if the Havasupai tribe, which I believe is the tribe like located in this area. Like historically, they run the area. They have like their tribal lands are there now. If they were the ones running helicopter tours, if it was the native tribe,
I still don't because
don't
what
trust
it
the pilots.
is
I get it. I get it. No,
no, no, no. You're opening the door, right? You're opening the
right,
door to something that's everyone's gonna start doing. All of a sudden,
right.
just like boom, now there's a flood, and all of a sudden, all it is a bunch of
Okay.
helicopters going zoom, zoom, zoom around. So I
Whitewater
just
raft, the Grand Canyon.
whitewater raft would be really dope to do down there.
Yeah, because
You
that
know,
would be one. I feel like you'd book in advance to kind of do that kind of stuff.
yeah, you probably definitely need
Um,
to do that one. Um,
you can like take
I
the burro rides down. I think the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. I mean, you got to also, I think you have to look in if you wanted to permit hike down and stay the night in the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Probably got to look that up. So like classic permit hikes, you're definitely gonna have to book in advance. And then outside that, the bigger tours or kind of those bigger things, it depends on what you're into.
Right. Yeah, you might even want to book a boat and go out on Lake Page for a day or kayak or something.
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%. Anyways, we are actually at our time, and so I'm going to be that guy. And it is time for our final word. So, final words, my man.
All right, guys, I didn't get to all my questions. So that means you guys are going to have to send some more in so we can do another episode so I can finish those questions as well as add yours to the mix. So I'm super stoked. I like these episodes. They get you thinking, they get you going because you have those classic talks, discussions, debates with one another. And I mean, these conversations are no different for me and Mark to have in the car. I feel like we'd be having these same debates and these conversations of like, well, would you want to hike the wave in Arizona? Would you want to plan it that far out in advance? How do we do these things? What do you want to do? Are we packing 2 bags? Are you packing 1 bag? Why do you got to be ridiculous and try all the coffee everywhere we go? No, I'm just kidding. It's fun. You
Yeah.
got to just experience it all. And you got like that's exactly it. You got to do what you want to do. Mark loves his coffee, and I mean fucking loves his coffee. Like it's I'm surprised we don't have a coffee sponsor yet, but that's probably because he's too busy drinking it all the time and not reaching out to try and get one.
I would be all about it if we had a coffee sponsor.
Well, maybe one day, maybe we will get one on one of our hikes and for the podcast. But until then, I will pass it off to you.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you sticking all the way through, listening to this episode, all the other episodes. You guys are absolutely wonderful. We're getting to spring, even though it sure don't feel like it. So it's time to start getting outside more. The weather's gonna get. Hopefully, I can get a nice tan here soon. I'm sure gonna love it if I can get tan. But just get outside, start doing more things, enjoying that vitamin D, enjoying that sunlight, doing all the wonderful things. And until next time, peace out, everybody.
Bye.